Hi everyone, my name's Scott. Welcome back to the Movie Reviewers 100. I do the Thursday videos on this collaboration channel, if you're watching us on YouTube, why don't you come on over to our Facebook page and offer us some feedback, comments, suggestions for new themes, what have you. We'd really like to hear from you. Yeah, we do a new theme each week, as many of you probably already know. And this week our theme is the actress Rachel Weisz, who hails from England, but has also starred in numerous American movies and became well known for the Mummy films, of course. But since gone on to earn an Oscar for The Constant Gardener with Ralph Fiennes. Yeah, she's been in a lot of stuff over the years. And I wanted to do The Fountain originally, but Ray, who did his video earlier in this week, was talking about possibly doing The Shape of Things. And I was like, oh gosh, you know, I mean, The Fountain I've seen like 3 or 4 times, but The Shape of Things I've only seen once, and I like that film a lot, so I really wanted the opportunity to watch again and talk about it. Not that Ray reviewing the movie would have stopped me from watching the film again, but I'm just like, you know, when you have a theme like this, it's just a good excuse to rewatch something that you liked. Ray was very nice about it. He mentioned it, but talked about a different film instead, The Whistleblower, and he left me to do the film. So thank you very much for that, Ray. He also talked a little bit about the film on his personal channel when he did Here's What I've Watched Recently. And the link to that video is below in the description, so you can take a look at that and hear what he thinks of the film. The Shape of Things is written and directed by Neil LaBute, who is responsible for In the Company of Men with Aaron Eckhart, Your Friends and Neighbors with Jason Patric and Catherine Keener, Ben Stiller, a few other people, also the Nicolas Cage remake of The Wicker Man. I'm not going to hold that against him, though. That's not his script. Who knows why he did that film. He did Nurse Betty with Renee Zellweger and Morgan Freeman and Chris Rock, and Lakeview Terrace with Samuel L. Jackson. And recently he had a film come out here in Chicago for just a week called Some Velvet Morning, which stars Stanley Tucci from The Hunger Games. He plays Caesar Flickman, and Alice Eve, who plays Dr. Carol Marcus in Star Trek Into Darkness, and presumably the next Star Trek movie if they do that. It's basically just 2 people in a house throughout the entire film. Basically, it's in real time. And you'd think that a movie like that would be based on a play, but it's not. The Shape of Things, however, is based on a play, even though I looked very carefully in the credits and didn't see that in there. Not adapted from the play by Neil LaBute. It's just written for the screen and directed by Neil LaBute, so I don't know. But it was a play, as Ray mentioned in his video. They put it on in London first, and then moved it to New York, and then made the film in a very short period of time. And it's very much like a play in the fact that it has only a few really long scenes rather than lots of little short scenes, as plays often are. There's 4 characters, basically, just 4 characters, and they're played by the same actors that were in that originally put on the production. Rachel Weisz, Paul Rudd, Fred Weller, and Gretchen Mol. I'm not really familiar with Fred Weller. This is the only film that I've seen him in. Gretchen Mol, of course, I know from movies like Rounders and 13th Floor, a bunch of other stuff. She's a very lovely, pretty blonde actress. Paul Rudd, of course, I've seen in a bunch of different films, starting with Clueless. He was in a couple. He was in one of the Judd Apatow movies, I think. I Love You Man, maybe, but he's been in a lot of stuff. He was in one of the best movies that I saw in 2011. Our Idiot Brother, really liked him a lot in that. He co-starred with Reese Witherspoon in How Do You Know, a bunch of romantic comedies. Jennifer Aniston, he was in Picture Perfect, I think, with Jennifer Aniston, or maybe that was Kevin Bacon. Yeah, no, Kevin Bacon was in Picture Perfect. Anyway, no, I'm thinking of Jennifer Aniston and. Yes, no, that's sorry, I'm getting confused there. Anyway, Paul Rudd, really nice guy, of course. Oftentimes, you know, he doesn't really play the bad boy, which is funny because in this film, all the other characters are commenting on the changes that he goes through, and he becomes more of a bad boy than he's ever been, which is kind of the point of the film. The plot involves Evelyn, Rachel Weisz's character, who is a graduate art student, meeting Paul Rudd at a museum where he works. He's a security guard, and she steps over the velvet rope into the, no-fly zone for a sculpture and plans on defacing it and everything like that. And he's just like, look, don't make any trouble for me, okay? I'm about to get out of here. I've got another job to go to. You're just going to make my life a living hell if you spray paint the statue and everything like that. She's like, the fig leaf isn't supposed to be there, The sculpture is supposed to be completely nude. They put a plaster fig leaf on a stone statue. That's the defacement right there. That's what's wrong. If I spray paint on it, that'll be fine. I'm just calling attention to the fakery of it. He's like, please, don't. Clearly, she's a bit of a wild card. And he ends up dating her for a while, and when they do, he ends up changing a lot. He's kind of a schlubby guy, he's a little overweight, wears glasses, and his hair is not that great, and his clothes are not that great, and she sort of encourages changes, subtle changes in his appearance and his behavior, and as he gets more handsome and more appealing to women and more confident, there are changes in his personality as well. Fred Weller plays his ex-roommate at college, and Gretchen Mol is Fred Weller's fiancée. But Gretchen Mol is also Paul Rudd's former classmate. And as the story goes, he met her in class, and she liked him and kind of subtly flirted with him, but he never really did anything about it. So now, as the changes progress in him and he gets, in better shape and his hair is nicer and his clothes are nicer, she kind of becomes more interested in him once again. So she's a bit torn between this guy she's dating, who she's supposed to be marrying, and Paul Rudd, who she originally liked before him and now is starting to like again. Meanwhile, Paul Rudd, he's torn between her and Evelyn. Gee, Gretchen Mol is really cute, she's really sweet, she really likes me. On the other hand, Evelyn's just so exciting and has inspired so much positive change in me, everything like that. And this creates a problem because he ends up, lying more and just hiding things and what have you. And Evelyn has this great monologue near the end of the film, which she talks about all the changes that have happened in him, how he's become more dishonest and secretive and just not as nice a person as he used to be, and yet everyone finds him so much more appealing because of how he looks and how he behaves. People are more interested in the shape of things rather than the content of their character. That's sort of the point of the title of the film. It's a really, really good film for those that like this kind of thing. There are people that don't like movies like this or Glenn Ross that are clearly taken from stage plays and not really changed too much. Neil LaBute in the extras was talking about how he really didn't open up the play at all when he adapted the screen. He was able to focus more on, of course, close-ups, let the actors' work become more subtle, and the characters became more subtle as well. Originally, the characters were sort of black and white, good and bad, and there's a lot more shades of gray in the film. So there was some rewriting going on there, but the basic structure of the play, I think, is probably more or less unchanged when it made the transition to film. There's actually a scene late in the picture in which you have a character speaking to an audience, and when they put on the play, the actor playing the character basically just addresses the audience sitting there watching the play. So the audience that come to see the play becomes extras in the play, essentially, which is kind of cool. I like that. Yeah, that is The Shape of Things. It's really good. I really enjoyed it a lot. And yeah, it's a film that I really it's great. I really like it. And like I said, a lot of people don't like this kind of film. They prefer more action, they prefer more variety in locations, what have you. Different strokes, right? So check out Ray's video if you haven't already. He talks a little bit about what he thought of the film on his personal channel. And don't forget to watch the other guys and their videos. James did Oz the Great and Powerful, which Rachel starred in alongside Michelle Williams and Mila Kunis as one of the witches. And EJ and Al did videos as well. I'm sorry, I don't remember which films they did off the top of my head. But yeah, Shape of Things is definitely a cool one. And it definitely belongs in the better Neil LaBute films than the other kind. He seems to really split his time between basically being a hired director for hire, just I'll direct the movie because I can direct, I know how to direct, even though it isn't my script, whatever, and the movies that he actually originates himself. He also, of course, writes plays that don't get turned into movies. So if you have a chance to see one of them, you really ought to. There have been a few that have played here in Chicago. I've missed most of them, to my regret, because I really like his writing anyway. His characters can often be vicious and nasty at times, and really hateable, but that makes for very, very interesting drama. So thanks very much for watching. Appreciate it. Be sure and check out our theme, our new theme starting tomorrow. Don't know what it is yet, but it'll be cool. And yeah, see you again soon. Don't forget to visit our Facebook page, like I said. Later.